What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited. My next installment of Heritage Month videos. I started this at the very beginning of the year, and every month that the US has kind of designated a specific Heritage Month, I've really tried my absolute best to showcase a full face, or as close of a full face as I can, featuring that ethnicity's products that I either already have in my collection or I planned ahead enough time to actually pick them up and receive the products. Unfortunately, this month I just did not plan the best. I also have just had a lot of things going on, so I just used what I already had. And although I like what came out, I definitely aim to do even better next year if I continue on with this kind of series. Definitely let me know if you guys want me to continue on with this series next year, just featuring even more products, maybe even new brands, that type of stuff. Let's just get into it. I don't want to talk too much. Like I said, this is going to be showcasing Hispanic or Latinx owned brands. I will always, of course, have all of the items listed and linked down below, and if I can figure it out, maybe I'll do something else special down in that description. So go ahead and take a look at there. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be doing another video in my Heritage Month series. It's taken me the whole month, quite literally, to get this video up, but I'm still so excited to talk to you guys about some of these brands and just showcase this makeup on my skin tone as I've been doing throughout this whole year. There are quite a few categories that I just don't have anything, so I'm gonna have to skip, and I will tell you which brands are Latin owned or Hispanic owned. But of course, as I said in the intro, this is Hispanic Heritage Month in the US. It started August 10th and it goes until September 10th. So it's a weird kind of makeup, unfortunately, but I'm still so happy to celebrate and promote these brands because quite literally all of the products that I'm going to be showcasing I enjoy. So I just want to go ahead and dive on in. For my actual base products, we're not going to have Latin owned brands. This is actually a Black owned brand, which is LYS. I believe I featured them in my full face. I want to say I honestly did multiple full faces of Black owned brands in February, because in February is Black History Month in the US. But anyways, I'm just going to be applying this. And yeah, how are you guys doing? This is also the beginning of spooky season, and I'm so excited to see what happens. I'm actually going to be dressing up this year for the first time since I was a kid, so it'll be really exciting to kind of have some fun with that. I'm doing some things with some friends, so I'm excited for that. And I genuinely hope that you have some fun things planned for whatever you want to do for the holiday season as well. I'm also trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my birthday. It is going to be quite a big kind of mile marker for me, so I don't think I have anything necessarily planned for literally my birthday, but maybe I'll finesse getting something together for the month after. Generally, I've been celebrating the last couple of years in January for my birthday anyways. Okay, once again, for foundation, don't really have a Hispanic owned brand. I just honestly haven't had the time nor the money to kind of dedicate as much as I would love to this video, but I still love doing it anyways. So what I'm gonna do is actually mix two Project Pan items. So I have my Makeup by Mario foundation as well as the Maybelline concealer, and I'm mixing those. I've been mixing them for a while now. It comes out to be an okay match for my chest, and because I'm so close right now, you guys might not be able to tell, but I'll scoot back in a second so you can see. This is pretty much a dead on due to what my chest is. And it's been really interesting. The more invested I get into makeup, I feel like my discernment into my undertones and like matching products to me, it's just been better. I definitely do want to just bronze up in general, but it's definitely been interesting just seeing how, a couple of months ago, if not even last month, I wouldn't have mixed the Maybelline in with the Makeup by Mario, and that has led to some interesting some interesting combinations to my skin at the end of the day. But it always comes together. So there's that. That's the combination mixed on my skin. It may look quite light compared to how I have been looking, but I also have natural lighting. In addition to, like I said, I'm using something that actually matches my chest for once. So yeah, two first things were both my project pans, so they don't kind of count. But I did some research, and the owner of Sigma Beauty, it was featured on something for Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm going to be using the concealer duo, which I have in deep to dark. One of the shades, let's see. This shade has a little bit more orange to it, whereas this one's a little bit more lightening. So what I like to do is usually go in with the darker shade, more of like a corrector, which I'm sure that's the actual purpose of the product. I tend to kind of use things for whatever it works into my routine. So we're just gonna use this kind of as a base. And like I said, just as a slight corrector. I do have some dark circles, as is understandable at somebody of my age. And thankfully, one of my nails is now no longer on my finger. So I can just use that to kind of make do. And then what I'm gonna do is just go into the lighter of the two shades in this duo, and that's what I'm gonna use as an actual concealer, more as a brightening. I just wanna brighten and add dimension to this look. And I just find that this duo was really good. At one point I was actually using this as like, not even, I wouldn't say as a foundation, but as like a no makeup day. I don't really do those. If you catch me in real life, honestly, 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch me without makeup. But on the times that I do want to wear makeup and I don't want it to be like too much going on, I will go ahead and reach for this. I just really enjoy this product. It's creamy enough that you can blend it with your fingers, but it also is thin enough that it blends in regardless if you have foundation under or if you're just using, this as the foundation or whatever. It's just really nice. I've seen this work on my skin tone from to medium to even light skin tones as well. So I definitely think that this is a really good product that can work for a wide range of people. As I like to say, just make sure you're really blending the product in. Even I sometimes, don't do the best with blending in, so the product just doesn't shine as good. But I do like to kind of highlight certain points of my face just to get that dimension. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job for me when it comes to blending. As I always like to say, I don't have my glasses on when I'm doing these makeup tutorials, so when I get to the end, if I see that I had issues blending at some point, I will kind of hopefully rectify that if I honestly can see it. Sometimes I can't see it because I'm so far away from my mirror and no glasses. Anyways, the next brand that I wanted to go ahead and talk about, I'm trying to see what combination of things I want to do. I'm going to let my under eyes do what they do for a little bit. We're going to talk about Tresclus. So Tresclus Beauty is, I want to say, an influencer owned brand. I do know that it is Latino owned and that it is on the Ulta website. At least the last time I checked, that's where I picked up this item. This is in the shade Deep, and this is their putty bronzer. I picked this up when I wanted to do bronzer week during the summer. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, you know that bronzer has been one of my favorite categories of makeup since I began putting makeup on, really. And this was just such a unique kind of type of bronzer. I really wanted to pick it up to see, one, if it would work on my skin tone, but also just to see the formula and just to play with it, really. The brush that I'm using right now is the Sonia G Jumbo Base Brush. Love Sonia G, absolutely love her brushes. But I'm just gonna kind of apply to one side so you guys can really see this on my skin. I wanna say I did a bronzer hunt video that either featured this or was dedicated to this product. I'm not really remembering right now, but if I did, I will have it down below. And what I will say is that this is a very interesting formulation. It literally does feel like a baked gelée kind of putty-ish product, but it dries down pretty much immediately once it gets on the brush and or on your face. It does have like a powder finish, so I don't think anybody would look at my face, at least this side, and say, oh, you're wearing a cream bronzer. No, I think they could definitely say potentially that it is a powder bronzer. And yeah, I like it. I like it. Is this my favorite bronzer that I've ever tried? I wouldn't say that. I definitely kind of think that for this product, you really have to be somebody who is comfortable using a brush to apply your bronzer. If you're somebody who really likes the concept of using a sponge just so that everything kind of melts in together, this wouldn't be the product for you, in my opinion. I think long term, a sponge would just leave some hard pan, and you know, who wants hard pan on a product that you spent your money on? So I definitely would say kind of keep that in mind. But otherwise, I think this is a really nice product. I think that it gives my skin a nice amount of warmth. Is it my perfect undertone? Once again, I would say no. I would say this is leaning definitely more on the neutral with a slight warmth than what I am used to, but it's solid. It's definitely solid. I really like the uniqueness of the formula. And like I said, it's not necessarily a powder. It's not necessarily cream. I really wouldn't even say it's a baked gelée because it's definitely creamier in the pan than even a baked gelée. A baked gelée tends to be very like domed, but it kind of blends into the skin effortlessly. I really do think this is a kind of a putty formulation, but in a 2023 sense. We went through a lot of like putty formulas with the highlighters from, I want to say Jouer, it was the brand, but that's probably wrong. There were a couple of brands in like 2015, 2016, probably, no, let me lie. Let me stop lying. Probably around 2017, they came up with a lot of like putty products that you could like Stila, that's the brand, that you could like stick your finger in and that worked. You can't really stick your finger in this. This is definitely more of a solid product. I don't think I showed you. It's a solid product. Like I had to force just to get that little indent there. So that really tells you that, in my opinion, it's not really the traditional putty formula. It's really a unique formula, but I think it really stands up in my collection and I could see me using it. But once again, I just don't think it would be a favorite, mainly because of the undertone, not the formula or anything like that, just undertone purely. Now I'm going to try something I've never particularly tried before. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So one of the brands that I kind of was sneak peeking that I'm going to use is this Alamar brand. Alamar is a brand that at one point was in, I want to say Ulta. It unfortunately is no longer in Ulta. And at the time that it was in, I want to say, like I said, Ulta, it was at the height of the brand. It was towards the end of kind of the YouTube's fame. I would say more in 2018, 2019. And they were at the top of their game at that point. They had a lot of bigger or kind of mid-sized influencers really promoting the brand and talking about the brand because the brand has great quality. I think they've just kind of slowed down on the releases, which has slowed down the amount of people talking about the brand. So less people really remember to look for the brand on their website, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, I'm going to be reaching into the contour or bronzer trio. They have a golden hue shade. I don't believe I've tried using this on my under eyes, and I'm just trying as most as possible. If I have a product that I think I can use in place, I'm going to try to. So I'm going to try to use this under my under eye, and we'll see. It's looking a little crazy, not gonna lie, but I'm sure it doesn't look too bad in person. Well, in person, it looks a little crazy. It's not terrible, but it's not what I'm used to. It also might be the brush. I'm not used to using this brush. So let me actually just go for my normal brush. This is the Sephora 73 brush. I've been really loving this brush lately. Yeah, I feel like that just packs the product on exactly where I want it, and it really sets the product. That doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. I think I actually unfortunately set wrinkles that the concealer had seeped into, but that's okay. That's on me. So I'm just going to tap that out like I just did. And then use that shade to set. Alamar did just recently come out with a Hot Cheetos collection. Wasn't for me, just not the type of collection that I want to spend my money on. But like I said, the products that I have spent my money on, I've really enjoyed. I bought this. I also bought a blush trio that I will show you guys in a second. And I know at one point people were raving about their eyeshadow formula. I just never got around to trying it, honestly. And yeah, so this is that powder. That's actually not a bad powder at all. Not at all. I'm actually going to go ahead and just cut a little bit right under that bronze. Yeah, I don't do that often, but I don't know. I like to mix things up quite a bit, and today I just felt like cutting under there. I'll probably even kind of buff with an even darker shade, but for now, that's perfect. I'm really liking that. And I think I'm also going to just rock with this bronzer as well. This I have in the darkest trio. I want to say this is dark to deep, or maybe deep to dark. And we're just going to pull a random dirty brush and just add even more warmth. Yeah, you see how that just added more warmth than this side? That's the amount of warmth that I like, but that, like I said, the product that I applied from Tresloose, not bad at all. I just like an obnoxious amount of warmth. Or if I'm not going to get an obnoxious amount of warmth, I want an obnoxious amount of yellow. I just really want that contrast. I've always been that way, especially when on camera. So let me just go ahead and apply this all over my face. And then we will continue on with the other products, because we got quite a few more that I'm really excited for. Okay, I just went ahead and drenched my face. That way that under eye powder can really seep into the under eyes. I think everything is looking really good. Nothing too crazy. Nothing disappointed in. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. If I feel like I need to tweak things, I will go back and tweak. Now for blush, a brand that I want to highlight is Rare Beauty. This is owned, well, at least co-owned by Selena Gomez. And yeah, I really like a lot of the product. I mean, there are so many things from this brand that I truly, truly enjoy. This is just the only product that I could kind of fit in to this particular video. But in my opinion, this brand is outstanding, and a lot of people really love these liquid blushes. At the beginning of my liquid cream blush interest, this was the shade and the product that I could really go to and know that I was going to get the product that I like. I do now tend to go more for pan cream blushes, but I will say, on the off chance that I am really feeling like I really need a liquid, this is not a bad liquid at all. I just think that it comes with a little bit of a curb, at least for me, and that's mainly because I don't think I get along personally with liquid products the best. Like this liquid product, I think is one of the best in the market. And I still feel like there's weirdness right there, mainly probably because of just how I apply and whatever. I probably shouldn't have just went straight in on the cheeks. I probably should have, put it on the back of my hand, tapped it around so that it was even on my brush and then applied. But that's a step that I most of the time don't feel like taking. So, take it with a grain of salt, but I do like the fact that this product shows up on my skin tone, which is something that I don't always get with liquid blushes. I feel like some liquid blushes literally seep into the skin and they hide away, and that's not something that I personally enjoy. I like for somebody to see the product that I'm taking the time, not only spend my money on, but also to put on my face. If I'm going to take the time to put it on, I want you to see it. I really do. So, I like the formula. Is it a favorite? Still, not necessarily, but I understand why there's so much hype. But rounding it back, this brand at the end of the day, absolutely no issues with any of the products that I have personally picked up. That said, I have watched videos and watched reviews from people who do pick up anything and everything from the brand to make sure that I get the best of the best, because every brand kind of puts out duds or just things that aren't going to work for me. And I've just made sure the things that I pick up specifically from that brand are going to personally work for me. I need to find this. I need that brush again, because I'm pretty sure I brought this down a little bit lower than I wanted. Oh, Blake. I just want to clean up just a tinge there. Okay. I might even clean up a little bit more, but so far I'm really liking how everything is coming together. Now, because I am me, I also have this Alamar Trio, and this once again is deep to dark. My favorite shade in this palette is this baby right here. I really don't mess with this, but that's before I got into pink blush. So I should actually try that on a day where I think that will kind of work with my look. But I'm just going to add a tinge of the Twin Flame shade, which is my favorite. The same BK Beauty brush. I love this brush not only for cream and liquid products, but I think this works really well with powder as well. And I think that combination is just nice. Very, very nice. So loving all of that. Now, there are a couple of things that I need to do. I really wanted to try this formula. People have been raving about it. They also have a pack on a line for holiday. They have a full-size pack. They have a mini pack. They have everything with these products. These are from Sunday Riley's. I don't believe this brand is Hispanic owned, but honestly, I haven't looked into it. I picked this up because I've heard so much about it and I needed to try it for myself. So this is, I want to say, the brown one, and that's why I picked it up. This is a lip balm. And yeah, we're just going to try this. This is going to hopefully keep my lips moisturized in the midst of me putting on my face. I will say I really like the doe foot. The doe foot is like curved to perfectly fit somebody's lips. I really like that. So far, the formula is really nice. We'll see how long it lasts. For me, that's the thing. If a formula doesn't last on my lips, I don't really enjoy it, or I need to use it in only certain aspects of, whatever. Okay, last kind of cheek product that I'm going to be applying today is from Lunar Beauty. I feel like so many people have forgotten this brand, and I need you to not forget Lunar Beauty. Lunar Beauty is run and owned by Manny MUA and his family, and I have enjoyed so much from the brand. I recently did my October membership tutorial with his first Halloween palette. I really love that palette, and I love bringing it out during this time of year just to play with and, just to literally remember how good that formula is, how beautiful the shades are on my skin tone. And it's so nice. So I not only did that, but I really, like I said, I wanted to really highlight this brand. This highlighter formula is really great. It is a like bronzy shade, but there is a thinness to the formula where it's not a straight up stripe of bronze, and there's a glitter in there as well. So it just works on my skin. I have found that even for really beautiful kind of metallic formulas that are bronzy, I don't reach for them. But a formula like this where it's a little bit like thin, so you can really buff it into the skin and it just gives an effortless glow, that is a formula that I will reach for. So all that to say, I really like this formula. Highly recommend. Their lip oils are great. Absolutely love them. I went through my one lip oil that I have. Honestly, the only reason I haven't gone back is because I just haven't made another order to Lunar Beauty. And unfortunately, the brand is no longer available through Sephora. So I just don't have access to them. But highly recommend the brand. Please, please, please go ahead and check them out. So the last thing I want to do, and then we're going to get into the eyes portion of today, is I got a couple of comments for my hourglass video. And this is kind of outside of, once again, the Hispanic Heritage Month products, but I got quite a few comments of people wanting to see the finishing powders used as finishing powders. And let me find a brush and then I will explain why I used the products the way I used the finishing powders as setting powders, because I have seen others of a lighter skin tone do the exact same thing, and that's how they've enjoyed it. I understand the product calls for being a finishing powder, and a finishing powder is completely separate from a setting powder, but I like to use products the way others do, because if they enjoy it that way, I want to see how it works that way. As I always say, even though I do my 3 looks and current thoughts, or my 3 type tries and current thoughts, those are current thoughts. Those are not a review. So I will definitely be trying this product out multiple more times before I bring you guys a review, but I wanted to show it on camera as its intended purpose, which is finishing powder. That way those who may have seen that video and are actually subscribed or whatever have you, want to come back and see how I use these as an actual finishing powder, they can see it here. So yeah, let's just leave it at that. Okay, so if I remember correctly, there are 2 products that specify, no, there's only 1 product that specifies that it is a finishing powder, and that is this lighter powder up top. So because I've already set my product, what I'm going to do is use that as the kind of highlighty powder in my look. I do, when I use finishing powders, which isn't very often, I use a very big fluffy brush because you're really just sweeping all of your products together. I'm going to try my best to not only get the finishing powder, but to get it at the tip of the brush. And what I'm going to do is just kind of go over everything. Just kind of do some long sweeping motions all throughout my face. Once again, trying to keep everything, where it's supposed to be. Okay. And once again, as I said in that video, to me, there's just too much sheen. Way too much sheen in this product to be a finishing powder. As I always say, I am combination oily. So although I like some radiance, I think that this is just not a controlled radiance on a normal day, or just a day that I'm not really like doing this on YouTube, because you'll definitely see the shimmer particles under the under eyes. I also think that it's just way too much emphasis in this corner or this area of my forehead, which is a part of my forehead that actually gets oily. So I just don't think that the finishing powder is for me. All the other products in there are fine. Like I said, the bronzer, I'm still not getting that oomph from. So yeah, I still have my thoughts. Like I said, still churning. I hope to get a review up tomorrow by the time you guys are watching this, because you guys will be watching this on Tuesday. So I hope to get a review on potentially this and some more products up by Wednesday. But just know, once again, when I do those 3 looks with a palette or 3 attempts of uses of a product, I'm always still testing a product outside of those videos, and then I will come back to give you guys a review. So let's continue on with the Heritage Month. So an exciting development that I had is that LYX actually sent me their brow product. If you did not know, I am affiliated with the brand. I always have my affiliate link down below. I believe I also have a code down there as well. You can feel free to use that or not. Like I said, they also are available at Sephora. So just use whatever works. I do know that LYS does 30% off sales, and I'm pretty sure even off of that 30%, you can typically still use like my individual code and get, I want to say my code is for 10%. And so I think you can get up to 40% using the combinations. Don't quote me, but I would honestly use the website. A lot of websites do better codes than like a Sephora or Ulta. I'm getting beside myself. This is in the shade dark brown, and I was just very excited to try yet another product from a brand that I truly enjoy. Now, I will say this is a creamy brow pencil. It is quite small, but there is a tip. So it's like a smaller version of the ABH, not the Brow Wiz, but the Brow Definer. It's a smaller version of the ABH Brow Definer, but definitely not as a dry formula. It's definitely a creamier formula than I've worked with in quite some time. But that's not a bad thing necessarily. I do tend to kind of just naturally have a light touch when it comes to my brow area. And because this is a darker shade than I will normally actually pick up myself, I think I was able to pull it off. I think this is a really good brow. Is it a little bit harsh and a little bit strong? Yes. But is it the worst thing since sliced bread? No, definitely not. I just think that if you're somebody who prefers a dry formula like an ABH, this is definitely just not going to be it. I'm trying to think, even the NYX brow pencil is very, very dry. The K Beauty ones that I've tried have been dry. I don't think I have tried a formula that's been this creamy in a very long time. I don't think brands tend to do, and I don't even know if I want to say it's creamy, because it doesn't feel creamy. I just like swatched it on the back of my hand. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily creamy. I would just say it's not so obviously dry like the ABH. So I wouldn't say that this is going to break off, but you also can, really adjust it so that you only have a certain amount of product visible outside of the tip. I want to say that this is just pigmented. I think that's what the correct term should be. Not that it's creamy, but that it's pigmented, and it's pigmented enough that, one, like I said, you don't have to have a lot of the product out of the packaging. You don't have to even really press a lot of, you don't even need to press too much to like really get opacity on your brows and on your, brow area. I think it's just a unique formula. It's a good formula. And once again, this brand is one of those brands where I don't find that I have any real issues with. Yeah, I definitely need to use that product more to really get my thoughts solidified. It is pretty easy to know if you're going to like a brow product or not. And I definitely think it's a good brow product. I just need to understand, the formula a little bit more, because it feels like it's creamy, but it's not creamy. It's just not overly waxy and overly dry, which could be a benefit because those drier formulas tend to break off, which is very annoying. But I don't know, there's just something I can't put my finger on, and I want to be able to put my finger on it to convey the texture of that brow pencil a little bit better than I've been able to verbalize. Okay, big words are done for the day. Now, the last brand that I'm actually going to be featuring specifically for the Heritage Month is Dominque Cosmetics. they haven't been coming out with a lot. I think that the brand has really taken their time in deciding what they release and what they don't release, which I'm not mad at all. It is an independently owned brand, and there's so many other brands, I will say, while I'm just applying this, that I do want to try that are independently owned. And otherwise, I do know, like, when it comes to eyeshadow, as with all of these heritage months, I have a lot more different brands in that. So there's a wider variety of brands to kind of experience and try. So I could have showcased Dose of Colors. I'm trying to think what other brands. There's so many other brands. I can't, of course, can't think about them now, but there's so many other brands that I could have showcased and featured. And I do want to get some more products from Dose of Colors, but I'm waiting for their sale. I want to say last year I saw that they did 50% off during the holidays. So I'm kind of waiting for that sale this year. And now that I'm like mentally prepared to kind of look for it, I'm hoping that it will still happen. So as I said, I'm using the Latte 2 palette, and there's not crazy amounts of like uniqueness with this palette. This palette is through and through a neutral palette, and that's perfectly fine with me. I've really grown into my love of neutrals, and I just want to play. So we're going to go into this strawberry milk shade, which is that beautiful, beautiful pink, and that is going to be a majority of my crease. I actually might keep that to the outer crease. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So yeah, Dominique Cosmetics is founded and owned independently, from what I know, by the influencer Dominique. What is her first name? Christian Dominique. And yeah, I've actually never watched a YouTube video from her. Just, I don't know, certain people I just never got to at the height of their YouTube channel, and I think at the time she was just too neutral for me. Now, you know, I'm all about the neutrals, but then not so much. So I just didn't watch a lot of people who were showcasing neutrals because that just was not my aesthetic, my vibe. Anyways, I do enjoy the formula. I've never had a problem with the formula, although I do know she's done what, 3 or 4 palettes, and I want to say one of those palettes was not received well. I think the formula was just off, but I think she bounced back with that 4th palette that a lot of people are liking more. I need to come in closer. My bad for being so far away. But as you can see, I just have a nice kind of wash of the pink on the outside of my eye. I didn't expect it to be overly, you know, pungent. Her formula isn't built that way, but also her brand and like how she does makeup just isn't built that way to be like super, super pungent. So I think I actually am going to go ahead and take the Blonde Roast, which is that yellow, and just kind of fluff it in the inner corner. No rhyme or reason. It can be and will be quite messy. It's probably not going to even really show up on camera because it's so, I wouldn't say it's thin, but it's not the most pigmented shade in this palette. And once again, I think that's just more of a brand prerogative than like a formula type thing. And that's fine. I like the kind of subtlety to it that if you're looking close enough, you'll see that I have a little yellow in there. If not, you won't. No big deal. And I'm actually just going to keep this same small brush, and we're going to go into the shade Cafecito. And we're just going to deepen out this outer V. Now these browns, these are pigmented. So do be careful if you are somebody of a lighter skin tone playing with these palettes. These are definitely pigmented and are really going to be impactful in your looks. Okay, I'm just going to go back into that bigger brush that I used, Strawberry Milk, and I'm just going to use an additional amount of strawberry milk to blend out the Cafecito shade. I really love the combination of those two shades. Like I said, I don't think the subtlety of it will really be shown on camera, but I can see it in person. And, you know, this is really where I question why I don't use so many of these beautiful products and palettes that I've already spent my money on. But anyways, that's another conversation for yet another day. So I have 3 beautiful shades in this palette that I can use on my lid. I think I'm gonna go into iced coffee on my actual lid, and I may use frappe in the inner half. And depending on how that's looking, I may then go in with frothy on the inner corner. And like I said, because I've lost a nail already, I'm going to be taking off the rest tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm actually just going to take frappe and just wrap it around. I don't feel like, honestly, I should have used the matte white. Let's see how good that matte white is. And if that doesn't work, I know I have a couple of matte whites that are really great. Let me just find a good brush to kind of go over that. Okay, so I'm going to take the frothy shade, and that's not looking super opaque, but oh yeah, that did exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to take that frothy shade and go right in that inner corner and a little bit on that lower lash line. And I think I'm also going to just, you know, for 2017, 2018, let's go ahead and bring a little homage to that. Top off a little bit just so I can blend it out a little. And yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So I'm gonna hop off camera really quickly. I'm gonna put something on my lips, an actual like product there. I'm also gonna probably put a lip liner, mascara, liner, all of that jazz. So give me 1 second. Let me finish up my look and then I'll be back to show you guys what's going on. And we can talk about the actual Hispanic Heritage Month products that I used, and then this will be a wrap. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look and I think it's looking really, really cute. I'm really liking these products. Let's dive through the brands that I use specifically, and then I can tell you what's on my lip just in case you're wondering. So like I said, for Dominque Cosmetics, I have not tried anything bad. I have this product, I have a lip liner. I think I've even tried a lipstick from them. Everything that I've enjoyed, everything that I've bought, I've really enjoyed. I kind of just wish that it was more accessible to get to the brand, but I completely understand that it's hard for these really small brands to stay in like a Sephora because they take a lot of the profits, and you also are kind of demanded to create a lot new products to stay in the brand. As for Alamar Cosmetics, I'm really enjoying the products once again that I've tried. I would highly recommend trying their products. I really enjoy them. As you saw, they worked on my skin tone. They're nice and pigmented and buildable, blendable, all of that stuff. Very, very great products in general. Lunar Beauty, I would say, out of all of these brands that I have talked about today, if this is a brand that you've not tried and you're not really sure if you like independently owned makeup, please try this brand. They have enough and quite a variety of not only cool tone neutrals, warm tone neutrals. They also have colorful palettes as well. There's a nice variety there. They have nice kind of variety in the other products outside of eyeshadows that they provide. I just really, really highly recommend you try that brand out of all of these brands that you can't necessarily get easily accessible from a Sephora or an Ulta. Definitely recommend you taking your time to try Lunar Beauty. As for Rare Beauty, I feel like this is kind of one of the more known brands that I featured specifically in the like Hispanic heritage aspect of today's video. I definitely think that they are worth certain things. I would just always caution you, like I do, let the bigger YouTubers that kind of automatically make money or just make money videos in general, let them buy the products first, let them review the products, and then if you get enough YouTubers that you get similar opinions of, you can maybe swatch it in store, whatever have you, then I would suggest you go ahead and pick it up. I really do like this particular product that I featured. I also have been really digging into the Rare Beauty highlighter that I featured multiple times in my channel for various reasons. I would highly recommend. I think there's only 2 more products that were specifically Hispanic owned. The Treilus bronzer, I really think that this is a nice bronzer. If you want to try another bronzer that has a different kind of formulation, a very unique formulation, I would definitely recommend this. Just know to me that this is very neutral, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not my personal favorite anymore. And so because of that, I do tend to kind of reach for another bronzer to apply on top of it or kind of tweak it in one way or another. And then lastly, for the brands that I featured, Sigma Beauty is beautiful formula. I've done a full face of Sigma Beauty previously during, I want to say the last December. Absolutely loved doing that face. That was the first time that I tried Sigma Beauty, and I hadn't seen a lot of people of my skin tone featuring it on YouTube, and I was so happy with the quality of the products. I would highly recommend you trying not only the brand, but also checking out that video to see how they work on my skin tone. And then of course, as always, get an affiliated coupon, a link, something so that you can get some percentage off of all of these brands. Please do not be spending all of your money on makeup. Get some sales so that you can save some money. Now, there is, like I said, I did use the Summer Fridays product. I will be using this more, getting my opinions on that more. So just stay tuned for a review. But on my lips literally right now, oh, and the LYS, like I said, I do need to get my thoughts on that. Okay, let's focus. So on my lips right now is Makeup Forever's Limitless Brown Lip Liner, or just pencil in general. If you are interested in this particular formula, but you don't want to buy a full lip liner and you want to kind of get a variety of colors, they actually do have a mini set available right now for what is a little bit more expensive than just one liner, and you get like 5 minis. So that may be an option. Not saying you have to get it. I just wanted you guys to know that. But the actual color on my lips is from this beauty. This is the Fenty Beauty Hot Chocolate Fantasy Lip Gloss. It has a brown base with what I was not expecting, which is kind of a full like undercoating of shimmer. There is pink shimmer, green shimmer, blue shimmer. It's just shimmer all about in the actual product. Once you blend it in, I don't think it's like super apparent. Yeah, it doesn't look super apparent. You just get a sparkle here and there. But if you swatch it and then on the first kind of swipe, you really can see that sparkle. It's beautiful. I'm really happy I got this. I got it off of the Fenty website on 30% off. Like I said, the individual brand sites are really giving the sales better than Sephora and Ulta. But I'm gonna get off of my high horse. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I don't remember when the next Heritage Month is up, but I'm hopeful that I'll be a little bit better prepared and I can kind of have a legitimate full face. That way there's not so many kind of starts and stops on the different brands. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, go ahead and give your girl a thumbs up. Of course, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're liking my content, you're liking my vibe, apparently even liking your girl's voice, all of that and anything in between. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video, which should literally be tomorrow, Wednesday. Alrighty guys, bye.